Hello everyone, welcome to FarreeMakes, and today we're making sliders and fries. So first I'm going to start off with my special sauce, which is ketchup, mayo, Dijon mustard, and some pepper sauce. So we're just going to scoop some mayo in there, and these can all be measurements according to what your preference is. So I don't really have exact measurements, but I like to put about that much mayo, a nice squirt of ketchup, a little dollop of mustard, and just a splash of the hot sauce. And these are all the things I like to put on a burger, so I just figured I'll just put it all in together and make it a nice sauce. And it complements the meat very well, and it's quick and easy when you're assembling. So we're just mixing that up, and then we're going to put that in the fridge while we prepare the rest of the ingredients. So first we're going to start with the prep. So I have a half an onion, 3 cloves of garlic, and we're just going to cut off that end there, leave the root intact, and I'm slicing off just about that much. That's going to be for the inside of our burger. The rest is going to be for caramelized onions, so I'm just going to cut those off in the strips. So next I'm just going to cut this piece of the onion into rough chunks and place that in my container for my NutriBullet, and just smush and roughly chop 3 cloves of garlic. So this is going to be a part of the mixture that we put in our sliders. I don't do too much when it comes to the patties because I like the flavor of the meat to shine through, so just keeping it very simple with aromatics and some simple spices. So our onions are prepped, and now we're just going to finish up this aromatic mixture. I add a little bit of water, and we're going to pulse that for about 5 seconds, just until it's like a rough mixture. Okay, now we're going to caramelize our onions. So I like to do a couple swigs of olive oil, a spoonful of butter, and then we're going to put the onion rounds in there. So I just like to break them up to kind of get it started. And then we're going to put this on a medium heat until the onions start to sweat. Now we're making our burger patties. So we have an 85% to 15% ground beef here, and then we have our spice mix and our aromatics mixture. And we want the patties to be about that size because those are the rolls that we're using. So I like to just poke a little hole in there just to kind of create more surface on the beef. I'll add my aromatics mix with the onions and garlic, and then my spice mix, which is onion powder, garlic powder, salt, black pepper, and paprika. It's what I use in almost like everything when I cook, so it's a good base, and this is all I would need at this point to flavor these burgers. So just going to mix that in until everything is combined. I don't want to overwork this meat mixture. So just going to fold everything in until I feel that the mixture is evenly distributed. And once I have a good enough mix, then it's time to section it out. So I have 12 rolls. So I just split the mixture into quadrants, and then I'm going to try and get 3 rolls or 3 little balls from each section, so that way I know I'll have enough burgers to go with my buns. And I'm trying to make them about a palm size, because when we shape and form them, they'll be just enough to fit onto the slider bun. Okay, so we're shaping them out, and I ended up with 13. So we're just checking on these caramelized onions. They're steaming away very nicely. And I'm just going to hit them with some cracked pink Himalayan sea salt to give it some flavor and also help them to get softer. So this is the final product after they've cooked. I'd say that was about 15 to 20 minutes. And we're just going to remove that from the pan. Get any little bits out there. And we're going to transfer that to a nice bowl. So now this oil and butter mix that we have here, don't throw that out, we're going to use that. So we have our patty mix here and our oil and butter from the onions, and now we're going to shape our patties. So you're just going to roll them out about palm size. The idea is to make them a little bit bigger than what the slider buns would be because the meat does shrink. So now we're just going to place that into that nice onion flavored oil. Okay, we fit 3 in this pan. We're going to cook that until it's nice and golden brown. Then we're going to top it with our cheese and cover it with a lid so that it steams. And once it's steamed, you see that cheese gets nice and melty. Just going to transfer that to a warm plate. And while we cook the rest of the sliders, we are going to cover that with some foil just so that it retains the heat and it doesn't get cold. Alright, now we're going to work on our fries. So we have 4 potatoes here, and I'm just going to peel the skins off. It doesn't have to be completely clean in terms of like taking off the skin. You can leave some of the skin on here. It adds a little texture to the fries and it gives a little character, but I mainly like to peel the potato because I want to see if there are any bruises that get exposed. So we're just checking that out, checking for the eyes, and just inspecting the potato. So everything is peeled, and we're just going to empty those scraps, and we're going to work on our potatoes one by one. So we're going to get a little closer here just so you can see everything. So as you can see here, there are some parts that we can automatically start cutting off. There's a little gash on the potato, so I'm just going to try and peel this down as much as I can until it doesn't show anymore. And then we're cutting that in half. And then from that half, we're just going to cut them into slices. And that's going to set the base of our fry shape. And then cut that in half. So I don't start too small. I just want to have the regular like fry shape to begin with, and then I can always go back and make them smaller if I want. So I'm just going to do that for the rest of all these potatoes. Okay, so I have the fries soaking in some water, and just to show real quickly, these were the original cuts that I had, and then I went a little smaller and thinner with some of them, so now they're all a uniform size. So we're just going to wash this in the water bath to get all that starch off. This is what's going to help the fries crisp up nicely. And now we're going to pat them dry. This also helps the fries to crisp up nicely by removing any excess moisture that's on the potato. So you just lay that out in a single layer if possible on a paper towel. And once you have it all laid out, you're going to just press all that moisture out. Do that for this whole bowl. And here we have it. And now it's time for some seasoning. So I start with the olive oil. That's going to help the crisping of the fries. And our spice mix. And again, this is the garlic powder, onion powder, sea salt, black pepper, and paprika. And I'm just going to add a little Italian seasoning because I just wanted to add a little oomph, and some cayenne for a little pop of heat. So you're just going to mix that all up. Make sure these are evenly coated. And once you have a good mix, then it's time to lay them out on a heavy-duty foil-lined baking tray. So we're just going to spray that foil just for a little added protection so these don't stick. And we're going to lay these out in a single layer. Keep them reasonably spaced. You want the heat to surround the entire fry and really give it time to cook. And at this time, also make sure that your oven is preheating to 350. And we're going to cook these fries for about 10 to 15 minutes at 350. So we have our 2 trays, our oven's preheated, time to put them in the oven. So after about 10 to 15 minutes, our fries are out and they're tender to the touch with a knife. So we're gonna put them back in at 375. For 5 minutes, now we're just gonna flip them. So you see how the bottoms got nice and golden brown? We're gonna flip them over so the other side can get that nice and golden brown. Okay, so it's been 5 more minutes, and these are the finished product with the fries. They're nice and cool, and they're crispy. So the last step that I feel is a very important touch is just to toast your buns. So it gives it a nice crispy exterior, it adds another level of flavor to the slider, and to me, I just love how it tastes. So I have some potato rolls here that we're going to use as our slider buns. And I'm just going to lay them out on a foil lined tray, and then I'm going to butter them. So the buttering helps them to crisp up nicely. It seals in another level of flavor, and it really makes the difference in terms of appearance for your buns. So we're just going to butter them lightly and make sure they have full contact with the foil at the bottom so that way they crisp up. Okay, butter, 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 and this is how it looks when it comes out. This was in the oven at 375 for about 10 minutes, just until they started turning golden brown, and we have everything. So we have the assembly now. We have the buns, we have the caramelized onions, we have our secret sauce, we have our patties that were tinted, and we're gonna assemble. So we just grab a bottom and a top, put some sauce on that bun, lay your patty on top and see how it fits perfectly on the slider. Top it with some caramelized onions, and this is just a rough demo of how you can do it. You can put anything on top if you want. So sauce the top bun, and there you have it. And now we're just gonna assemble 2 more. I really like sliders. They're simple. Once you get all your components together, you can mix and match anything. You can do a different type of cheese, you can do a different type of patty mix, you can do a different type of topping, and you can play around with the sauce. So it's really whatever you choose. Alright, so we have our sliders, and now we're going to just add our nice oven fried fries on the plate, and they're really crispy, seasoned perfectly, and it's time to enjoy.